All right. Good morning, everyone. As Patty said, my name is Stacy Hawkins Adams, and I'm a local author and journalist, and I am at the Maggie Walker Historic Site this morning, and I'm here as a part of Richmond Public Library's 100 Days RVA Reads, a program promoting the Great American Read by PBS and WCVE. And I'm going to be reading and discussing with you one of my favorite books, Zora Neale Hurston's Their Eyes Were Watching God. And so Patty, when she contacted me, she gave me a list of books that are on the Great American Read list and asked me to choose one of my favorite books. And I chose Zora Neale Hurston's books, one of her books rather, because as a writer myself, this was one of the books that first inspired me. What I love about this particular story is that it talks about a strong woman right after emancipation, and it talks about black culture and African American life in Florida and what it meant to be middle class or so-called middle class back right after emancipation. And the main character, Janie, is a woman who has been married twice. She's recently widowed, and she's now falling in love with a younger man. So the excerpt I'm going to read to you reads like a love story, but it's also about Janie's journey to self-discovery, her journey to becoming an independent woman even in those times. So I'm going to read two sections for you to share with you her journey. It was after the picnic that the town began to notice things and go mad. Tea Cake and Mrs. Mayor Starks, all the men that she could get, and fooling around with somebody like Tea Cake. Another thing, Joe Starks hadn't been dead but 9 months, and here she goes sashaying off to a picnic in pink linen. Done quit attending church like she used to, gone off to Sanford in a car with Tea Cake and all dressed in blue. It was a shame. Then took to high-heel slippers and a $10 hat, looking like some young girl, always in blue because Tea Cake told her to wear it. Poor Joe Starks. Bet he turns over in his grave every day. Tea Cake and Janie gone hunting. Tea Cake and Janie gone fishing. Tea Cake and Janie gone to a dance. Tea Cake making flower beds in Janie's yard and seeding the garden for her. Chopping down the tree that she never did like by the dining room window. All those signs of possession. Tea Cake in a borrowed car teaching Janie to drive. Tea Cake and Janie playing checkers, playing Florida flip-flop on the store porch all afternoon as if nobody was there. Day after day, week after week. Phoebe, Sam Watson said one night as he got in bed, I believe your buddy is all tied up with that Tea Cake, sure enough. Didn't believe it at first. Oh, she don't mean nothing by it. I think she's just sort of stuck on that undertaker up in Sanford. It's somebody else because she's looking mighty good these days. New dress and hair combed a different way nearly every day. You gotta have somebody to comb your hair over. Course, she can do as she please. That's a good chance she's got it there in Sanford, though. That man's wife died and he's got a lovely place to take her already furnished. You better talk some sense into her. Tea Cake can't do nothing for her but spend what she got. Well, that's what it looks like she wants, and she is her own woman. She ought to know by now what she wants to do. Well, you're her friend, and you better go see about her. Drop a hint here or there, and if Tea Cake is trying to rob her, you need to let her know. A woman like that, I would hate to see her come up short. So the next morning, Phoebe picked her way over to Janie's house like a hen to a neighbor's garden. She stopped and talked a little bit to everyone she met. She turned aside momentarily to pause at a porch or two, going straight by, walking crooked. So her firm intention looked like an accident, and she didn't have to give her opinion to folks along the way. Janie acted glad to see her, and after a while, Phoebe broached with her. Janie, everybody's talking about how that Tea Cake is dragging you around to places you ain't used to. Baseball games and hunting and fishing. He don't know that you used to more high-time crowd than that. Jody classed me off. I didn't ask for that, Phoebe. Tea Cake ain't dragging me off nowhere I don't want to go. I always did want to get around a whole heap, but Jody wouldn't allow me to do that. He would have me sitting in the house with my hands folded, and I would sit there with the walls creeping in on me and squeezing all of the life out of me. Phoebe, these educated women, they got a heap of things to sit down and consider. Someone told them what to sit down for. Nobody told me. I want to utilize myself all over. So Tea Cake and Janie wind up getting married. The hurricane comes through Florida. Oops, I lost my place here. And they do fall deeply in love. She's 40, he's in his 20s, so it's an unconventional romance. And while they're fleeing the hurricane, they're trying to swim through a river, and a rabid dog approaches them. And in order to protect his wife, Tea Cake is bitten by the dog. So this is the scene after he gets bitten by the dog, which was rabid. He ends up getting sick, and she has to, take his life to save hers because he becomes mad like the dog. And this is after his funeral. They had begged Janie to stay on with them, and she had stayed a few weeks to keep them from feeling bad. But the muck meant tea cake, and Tea Cake wasn't there. So it was just a great expanse of black mud. She had given away everything in their little house except a package of garden seed that Tea Cake had brought to plant. The planting never got done because he had been waiting for the right time when his sickness overtook him. The seeds reminded Janie of Tea Cake more than anything else because he was always planting things. She had noticed them on the kitchen shelf when she had come home from the funeral and had put them in her breast pocket. Now that she was back home, she meant to plant them for remembrance. Janie stirred her strong feet in the pan of water. The tiredness was gone, so she had dried them off with a towel. Now that's everything there was to tell you, Phoebe, just like I told you. So I'm back home again, and this time I'm satisfied to be here. I've been to the horizon and back now, and I can sit here in my house and live by comparisons. This house is not so absent of things like it used to be before Tea Cake came along. It's full of thoughts, especially love. I know all those sitters and talkers going to worry their guts fiddling till they find out what you and I've been talking about. That's all right, Phoebe, tell them. They're going to make admiration because my love didn't work like their love if they ever had any. Then you must tell them that love ain't something like a grindstone. It's something everywhere. It's something anywhere. Love is like the sea. It's a moving thing. But still in all, it takes shape from the shore that it meets. And it's a different shore everywhere. Thank you. All right. Okay. And so, if you liked what I read, please know that all 100 books, including Zora Neale Hurston's book, is available at your local Richmond Public Library. And we have some of the books from the One Great American Read on the back table in the very back of the room, or back of the park, actually. And if you would like to be one of the readers for this event, you can go to rvalibrary.org/100 days.